There are so many topics that I could choose from this morning. Mel Kiper not being allowed to attend the NFL draft because he's unvaccinated. I haven't looked into that story too much. I don't know if this is an ESPN decision or an NFL decision, but either way, it is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know if ESPN or the NFL got the memo, but America is over the COVID. We finally have a Supreme Court judge with some common sense who yesterday overturned the ridiculous mask mandates on airplanes. I have flown several times over the last 2 years, and each time it was absolutely miserable. Sitting in first class, it was worse than sitting in coach. When you're in first class, your area has its own personal flight attendant. So one lady had her eyes on all 8 or 10 of us, making sure that we were COVID compliant the entire flight. I fell asleep at one point. My mask ended up dropping off my nose. I bet you it wasn't 5 or 10 seconds. This woman is tapping me on my shoulder at midnight, informing me that my mask wasn't in COVID compliance. But anyway, that bullshit is all over now. We also have Colin Kaepernick changing his stance on the NFL, begging like a starving Ethiopian begs for food to get back into the league. I thought about getting into that this morning, but to be completely honest with you, I'm fucking tired of talking about Colin Kaepernick. I just want him to go away. I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired of hearing about Colin Kaepernick all the time. He's fucking irrelevant. He serves absolutely no purpose besides pissing people off. Either way, we might get into that later this afternoon. But this morning, I wanted to share with you the big story right now in the USFL. The biggest story in the USFL right now has nothing to do with the game on the field. Their rating success on Saturday is now being completely overshadowed. Part of me understands what the USFL is trying to do here. I think it's going to backfire, but part of me understands what they're doing. When you're a startup league, especially when you're starting in an area that's failed numerous times, it's important for you to maintain relevancy. It's also important for you to be different. I've used this example before. I'm going to use it again. There are millions of channels here on YouTube. There are millions of podcasts centered around sports. 99% of them all do the same thing. If you're going to start your own channel, you've got to find a way to be in that 1%. You got to find a way to garner attention, find a way to differentiate yourself. When I first started this channel, it was god awful. It was terrible. I was simply the millionth reiteration of ESPN, talking about analytics, talking about X's and O's, talking about the game on the field, trades, free agency, drafts. But eventually, I found a way to be different. When political and social issues became prevalent in sports, I began easing my way into covering that area. Now, are there other channels that do what I do? Of course. But how is this channel different from everybody else? You think it's an accident that I wear Under Armour every day? These curtains, as hideous as they are, they've kind of become a staple of the channel. It's different. My thumbnails, they're simple. There's nothing to them. They're not flashy. They're not fancy, but they're different. Other channels, they have nice little intros that run 5 to 10 seconds at the beginning of the video. We just get straight to the point. It's different. I don't watch other channels similar to mine. However, from time to time, I will check out a video or two. They'll bring you the story, maybe read a blurb from Outkick or some other website, play a video of whatever situation they're talking about, and that's fine. That works for them. They're good at what they do. I always try to find a way to make things entertaining, but I also try to find ways to make you relate to what's going on. Oftentimes, I'll incorporate real-life analogies into something that happens in sports or in the media. It's just a different way of presenting the story. But you get my point. In a marketplace that is saturated with content, or in the case of the USFL, in a marketplace that's saturated with options for sports, you've got to find ways to differentiate yourself. And to the USFL's credit, they are busting their ass to do just that. But I think they might have fucked themselves over with this one. Fox and the USFL, they are producing a reality show, I should say, giving you a behind the scenes look at what's going on inside the league. It's their version of Hard Knocks. Yesterday, video was released for an upcoming episode of the show. It featured a conversation between running back Davion Smith and Pittsburgh Maulers head coach Kirby Wilson. Which, by the way, get a new fucking team name. What the hell's going on with these team names lately? The Cleveland Guardians, the Washington Commanders, Pittsburgh Maulers. It's just lame as fuck. I'd rather Washington go back to the Washington football team than have a name like the Commanders. Sounds like the name of a Little League team. But anyway, the conversation centered around the release of Davion Smith. It's not the release itself. It's the supposed reason for his release that's bringing backlash to Kirby Wilson and the USFL. Watch it for yourself.
Well, he crossed the line, so we had to deal with it.
This is very difficult for me as a head coach, my first time, but we have a business. Okay, this is business, and you're a businessman. We all are, because that's the nature of the beast right now. But when I first talked to you guys on March 22nd, I had a handbook. I covered some items that were very important to me.
Line 46 addresses that. Any disrespect of football or members, staff, USFL, hotel, etc. would not be tolerated.
And it's been brought to my attention that has occurred with you. So unfortunately, hear me out, unfortunately, cost of doing business, I'm gonna have to let you go. Okay?
I didn't think I did anything or said anything disrespectful.
I can tell you what happened exactly.
It's not important right now.
Right.
It's not important.
I don't know.
It's already happened.
Right.
It's already happened.
I didn't say anything disrespectful. He said, is that going to be a problem? I said, yes. That's it. And I walked away. I mean, I didn't think that was disrespectful. Me saying yes, I don't eat chicken salad. And I was like, is there another option? Walked in with pizza, and I was like, can I get a slice of pizza? He said, no. I was like, he said, is that going to be a problem? I said, yes. That's all I said. I didn't say no cuss word, nothing. That's all I said. I promise you. No disrespectful on my dad's life. I promise you I didn't say nothing disrespectful besides yes.
And I appreciate you sharing that, but the matters, it's done. It's done. I appreciate you sharing that. But good luck.
Someone's feelings, hurt feelings, are a distant second to the greater good of the team. And we've moved on and turned that page, and I'm happy we did it.
First of all, Kirby Wilson's handling of this situation is completely unprofessional. I'm not talking about the reason for the release, which the media is reporting that Davion Smith was released because he wanted pizza instead of chicken salad. Apparently, that broke team rules. But I'm talking about how Kirby Wilson treated Davion Smith in that clip. He completely disregards his side of the story. Hell, he didn't even want to listen to it. The decision had already been made. In Kirby Wilson's mind, it was done. But to get up and not shake the man's hand, to not tell him that you appreciate his time, his effort, his contributions to the team. Instead, Kirby Wilson stands up and walks his ass out of the room. It paints this narrative that the USFL is Bush League, and when you're a startup minor league football league, that is the last reputation that you want. However, everything I just laid out is under the assumption that all of this was real. I think this is a case of reality show bullshit. It's fake. I mean, just think about this for a second. I don't know how the USFL contracts are structured. I'm going to assume they're structured similar to the NFL, where contracts are not guaranteed. A player can be cut for any reason or no reason at all. In the NFL, you can get cut because the head coach doesn't like your attitude. But think about this. Do you really think a head coach in a professional football league is going to cut a player because he wanted pizza instead of chicken salad? Even if that was the case, do you think the coach is going to lead the player to believe he was cut over a fucking food choice? I don't think so. I mean, if it were me, I would come up with a more viable reason, whether it's the player not fitting the system, not performing, whatever the fuck. I'm not going to embarrass myself by cutting a player over pizza. Now, maybe this is the conspiracy theorist in me. Maybe it's the fact that I have a hard time trusting anything that I see. But I think this situation was manufactured for reality television. I think the USFL did this to bring media attention to the league. If that was their mission, it worked. I mean, it worked. This story's all over the mainstream media this morning. I guess the USFL adopted the motto, there's no such thing as bad press. But think about the timing. Think about the timing this clip was released. The video was released on Twitter early yesterday morning. Davion Smith, he spent the entire day yesterday trashing Kirby Wilson and the Pittsburgh Maulers. Guess who played last night? The fucking Maulers. And they got their ass mauled. It was brutal. Now, this is just my opinion. But I think the USFL pushed Kirby Wilson to insinuate he was letting Davion Smith go over pizza and released the clip to drum up attention for a game last night. If you notice in the clip, Kirby Wilson never clarifies why he was releasing Davion Smith. Smith, he briefly mentions the pizza incident. Kirby Wilson references the rule book, but it was never clarified. The USFL, they knew this would spark debate on social media, which is exactly what it did. From a marketing perspective, I mean, it's free marketing, it's free promotion. The problem is, it's not going to save a league that appears to be closer to death than eternal life. The USFL, they popped a big rating Saturday for their opening game, outdrew the majority of NBA play-in games. 3 million viewers. I mean, that's all well and good, but is that sustainable? The number's already expected to decrease dramatically over the coming weeks. Now, another way to judge the health of a league is attendance. We talked yesterday about the Birmingham Stallions giving away 40,000 free tickets and only 17,000 people bothered to show up. Check out these crowd shots from the game in New Orleans.
Called for by Maurice Alexander inside his own 20-yard line. So with 9 seconds left, coming off of easily their best drive where they went 96 yards for the touchdown. Brian Scott puts the helmet on, likely to be happy to let those final seconds tick away.
There are more people lying in the cemetery in Gilbert, Arkansas than in attendance at that game. And the only people in the cemetery in Gilbert are named Gilbert. You know anyone named Gilbert? Yeah, me either. And it wasn't only in New Orleans. Attendance across the USFL is struggling. The reason it's struggling? There's no need for minor league football. But I'm interested to know your thoughts on this one. Do you agree with my theory? The USFL, they contrived this situation and circulated this clip to bring attention to the game last night. I don't think it sounds that far-fetched, but, I do like my conspiracy theories. I could be wrong, but let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.